We interrupt this program with a special news bulletin from the History Broadcasting Systems newsroom. We first go to Richard Simpson in the White House in Washington, where Japanese envoys are waiting to speak with Secretary of State Gordon Hall. Now to you, Richard.
I am standing in the White House, where 3 envoys from the Imperial Japanese government are waiting to speak to Secretary of State Gordon Hall concerning the current relations between the Empire of Japan and the United States in relation to the situation in China and the trade embargo the U.S. has against Japan. They have been sitting in the office for going on an hour at this point. I have seen no one enter or leave since they arrived.
I have to interrupt you, Richard. We are receiving information that there has been an attack on Honolulu in the Hawaii Territory. In particular, the Navy base Pearl Harbor, Hickam Field, Wheeler Field, and Ford Island. We now go to Honolulu, where our affiliate is standing by with the latest. Go ahead, Jeff Franklin.
This is Jeff Franklin coming to you live from Honolulu, Hawaiian Territory. We have been under attack by unidentified aircraft. There are rumors that the insignia of the rising sun has been seen on the aircraft that dropped bombs on the military and naval assets all around the island of Oahu this morning. I'm coming to you via shortwave as the phone lines from the Hawaiian Islands are currently jammed with traffic trying to get information back to the mainland. The military here in Honolulu had taken over all telephone traffic to ensure that proper authorities are aware of the situation here. I am currently attempting to get to the Naval Public Relations Office to get a confirmation on exactly what is going on. What I can see from here is there is a lot of smoke coming from many places across Pearl Harbor, especially Battleship Row, which looks like it took the brunt of the attack. Also, the airbase on Ford Island is currently ablaze. I'm not on the base at this point. I am traveling there as we speak. I will have more details when I get to a place to share them. Back to you, HBS.
This is Robert Knowles back in the HBS newsroom. To recap, unidentified aircraft have attacked military and naval assets in the Hawaiian Territory. The envoys of the Japanese government are currently waiting to speak to the Secretary of State. We are returning to Richard Simpson at the White House, who is covering the arrival of Japanese envoys. Now to you, Richard.
Thank you. The Japanese envoys have just left the White House. They left in quite a hurry. I am hearing that there is some activity at the Japanese embassy with black smoke pouring out of the chimney. We have a reporter on site. However, he is being denied any access to the embassy or its personnel. Judging by the color of the smoke, it seems that the Japanese are burning something other than firewood right now. We will have more information as it becomes available. Back to New York.
We are now hearing that the U.S. Army lumber transport ship has been torpedoed 1,300 miles west of San Francisco. It is unknown of the attacker, but it is assumed by government officials to be the Japanese. Another American transport is reported in distress. I am hearing right now that Jeff Franklin is on the naval base at Pearl Harbor and is standing by with a member of the public relations staff of the U.S. Navy. Out to Honolulu with Jeff Franklin.
This is Jeff Franklin on the Naval Station Pearl Harbor with Lieutenant Malcolm Reed, U.S. Navy, one of the public information officers. Lieutenant Reed, what can you tell us about what has happened so far?
Today at approximately 0755, a wave of unidentified aircraft, later to be determined to be those of the Empire of Japan, launched a bombing attack on facilities throughout the island of Oahu. Battleships Arizona, California, West Virginia, the former battleship Utah, the destroyers Cason and Downs have all been sunk. Battleship Oklahoma has capsized and is currently keel up. Battleship Nevada was damaged but got underway. She is currently steaming out of Pearl Harbor. Battleships Tennessee, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, the light cruisers Raleigh, Honolulu, and Helena, and the destroyer Shaw have all been damaged. Other facilities are currently being checked for damage. Casualty numbers are unclear at this point.
Can you tell us anything about the rumors that a U.S. Navy minesweeper spotted a submarine periscope in or near Pearl Harbor at a little before 4 this morning?
Not at this time. No such information has been relayed or can be released at this time.
So you cannot make a comment on whether the warning pass from the minesweeper to the USS Ward was passed on to Washington?
I know of no such warning or message passed to Washington. That information is not available at this time.
We are hearing reports that the destroyer USS Helm fired upon a submarine a little over half an hour ago. Can you comment on what's that? It seems that a second wave of aircraft are now attacking Pearl Harbor. Anti-aircraft guns are blazing across the entirety of the bases here at Honolulu. Bombs are dropping from what are confirmed to be Japanese air.
We seem to have lost contact with Jeff Franklin in Honolulu. To recap, the Japanese have attacked naval and military assets on the Hawaiian Islands of Oahu, including the naval base at Pearl Harbor. The attack started at approximately 7:55 this morning, Honolulu time. Japanese envoys at the time were scheduled to meet with Secretary of State Gordon Hall at 1 o'clock this afternoon, 7:30 Hawaiian time. But the envoys were delayed. The first attack occurred while the envoys were waiting for Secretary Hall. Among other reports, 7 United States Navy ships have been sunk and 8 damaged. Numerous aircraft have been destroyed on the ground. 1 U.S. Army transport carrying lumber has been sunk in the Pacific 1,300 miles west of San Francisco, and another transport is currently in distress. A second wave attacked and is currently underway at Pearl Harbor. It appears that the soldiers and sailors of Oahu were prepared for the second wave, as anti-aircraft weapons were being fired at the time the second wave hit, which occurred approximately at 8:55 Hawaiian time a few minutes ago. We are now hearing that President Roosevelt has called a joint session of Congress to convene around noon tomorrow, December 8th. This is Robert Knowles with History Broadcasting Systems Newsroom. We are now returning you to normal scheduled programming. We will interrupt programming when we get more information or we have something to update you.
History with on credits. Announcer, yes, I have to get it in the groove here. Yeah, hello, purple lady, where's my spotted dick? This presentation of history with our attack on Pearl Harbor was directed and produced by Robert Knowles. It was written by Richard Simpson. Yes, okay, now that the test is over, I do believe I am in the Peter Whalen mode, yes. This presentation of history with our attack on Pearl Harbor was directed and produced by Robert Knowles. It was written by Richard Simpson. In the cast were Robert Knowles, Richard Simpson, Jeff Franklin, and Mr. CCDB. This is the voice of Peter Whalen. Join us in 2 weeks for the next episode of the History Broadcasting System from History with R and R.
Is this thing on?